शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः। अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे। श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे। श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। उमाकोमलहस्ताब्जसम्भावितललाटकं हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करस्वशं। வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹரஹரோஹரா. லோகவீரியம் மகாபூஜ்யம் சர்வரக்ஷாகரம் விபும் பார்வதி ஹிருதயானந்தம் சாஸ்தாரம் பிரணமாம்யகம். சுவாமியே சரணமையப்பா. वागर्ताविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्त प्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। श्रीपार्वती परमेश्वराभ्यां नमः। कोमलं पूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खकौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचरगुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा। कृष्णेनैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृत् कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः। कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम्। कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन् हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरनभ्यर्थितानपि आर्तान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च। इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं शक्रवाटी ध्रुममभिलषति व्यर्थमर्त्यव्रजोऽयम्। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं श्रीभट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। वंशीविभूषितकरात् नवनीरधाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलादरोष्टात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने. കൈരണ്ടും കുപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടും ഇറക്കുന്നു നീരജലോചനാനിന്നോടായി. ഏതീനു മഞ്ഞാനെ കുമ്പീരേണ്ട തോറോ രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ പാലിക്കെന്നായി. കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the class. I know we have probably just a half a class today because some are celebrating Diwali today, some tomorrow. But anyway, we'll keep going. So 72, we'll do a review. Madhu, you can do half, and Padmaja Meikundam, can you do one other half? You do six stanzas.
Om श्रीकृष्णाय परब्रह्मणे नमः। दशकं 72 अक्रूरस्य गोकुलयात्रावर्णनम्। कंसोऽथ नारदगिरा व्रजवासिनं त्वाम् आकर्ण्य दीर्णहृदयः स हि गान्धिनेयम् आहूय कार्मुकमखच्छलतो भवन्तम् आनेतुमेन महिनाथ शायन् अक्रूर एष भवदङ्घ्रिपरश्चिराय त्वद्दर्शनाक्षममनाः क्षितिपालभीत्या तस्याज्ञयैव पुनरीक्षितुमुद्यतस्त्वाम् आनन्दभारमतिभूरितरं बभार सोऽयं रथेन सुकृती भवतो निवासं गच्छन्मनोरथगणांस्त्वयि धारमाणान् आस्वादयन् मुहुरपाय भयेन दैवं सम्प्रार्थयन् पथि न किञ्चिदपि व्यजानात्
Madhu, second line, last word, Daryamana. Ya sound is there.
धार्यमाणान् द्रक्ष्यामि वेदशतगीतगतिं पुमांसं स्प्रक्ष्यामि किं स्विदपि नाम परिष्वजेयं किं वक्ष्यते स खलु मां क्वनु वीक्षितः स्यात् इत्थं निनाय स भवन्मयमेव मार्गम् भूयः क्रमादभिविशन् भवदङ्घ्रिपूतं वृन्दावनं हरविरिञ्च सुराभिवन्द्यं sorry, correct?
Correct.
भूयक्रमादभिविशन् भवदङ्घ्रिपूतं वृन्दावनं हरविरिञ्च सुराभिवन्द्यम् आनन्दमग्न इव लग्न इव प्रमोहे किं दशान्तरमवापन पङ्कजाक्ष पश्यन्न वन्दत भवद्विहृतिस्थलानि पांसुष्ववेष्टत भवच्चरणाङ्कितेषु किं ब्रूमहे बहुजना हि तदापि जाताः एवं तु भक्तितरला विरलाः परात्मन्
सायं स गोपभवनानि भवच्चरित्रगीतामृत प्रसृतकर्णरसायनानि पश्यन् प्रमोदसरितेव किलोह्यमानो गच्छन् भवद्भवनसन्निधिमन्वयासीत् तावद्ददर्श पशुदोहविलोकलोलं भक्तोत्तमागतिमिव प्रतिपालयन्तं भूमन् भवन्तमयमग्रजवन्तमन्तः ब्रह्मानुभूतिरससिन्धुमिवोद्वमन्तं सायन्तनाप्लवविशेषविविक्तगात्रौ द्वापीतनीलरुचिराम्बरलोभनीयौ नातिप्रपञ्चधृतभूषणचारुवेषौ मन्दस्मितार्द्रवदनौ स युवां ददर्श
Second line, first word is Dvau. Dvaupita.
sorry
Keep
द्वौपीतनीलरुचिराम्बरलोभनीयौ नातिप्रपञ्चधृतभूषणचारुवेषौ मन्दस्मितार्द्रवदनौ स युवां ददर्श दूराद्रथात् समवरुह्य नमस्तमेनम् उत्थाप्य भक्तकुलमौलिमथोपगूहन् हर्षान्विताक्षरगिरा कुशलानुयोगी पाणिं प्रगृह्य सबलोथ गृहं निनेथ.
First and last word, Namantam. I heard is sound. There's no is. It's in Namantam.
Namantam.
Yeah.
Duradratha.
You don't have to repeat. Yeah, you can keep
Okay.
going.
Namantam. नन्देन साकममितादरमर्चयित्वा तं यादवं तदुदितां निशम्य वार्तां गोपेषु भूपतिनिदेशकथां निवेद्य नानाकथाभिरिहतेन निशामनैषीः
Second line, Nisha Maya, half ya and full ya. Nisha Maya Varta.
तं यादवं तदुदितां निशमय्य वार्तां चन्द्रागृहे किमुत चन्द्रभगागृहेनु राधागृहेनु भवने किमु मैत्रविन्दे दूर्तो विलम्बत इति प्रमादभिरुच्चैः आशाङ्कितो निशिमरुत्पुरनाथपायाः श्रीकृष्णाय परब्रह्मणे नमः ॐ
Fourth line,
श्रीकृष्णाय
first word, Ashankito.
fourth line shankito
First word, Ashankito. You said Ashankito. It's just a Ashankito.
okay sorry
Ashankito.
आशङ्कितो निशिमरुत्पुरनाथपायाः
Parabrahmane Namaha. Okay, we'll continue with 73. Like I said, 73 is Bhagavato Mathura Prasthana Varnanam. So Krishna leaving for Mathura. Let me see where today. Padmaja, Ramesh, you can be student, and Venkat Kaur, you can be student. So I think we have to do from stanza 3. Charama prahare pratishthamaanaha saha pitra nijamitra mandalaischa paritapabharam nitam binina shamayishyan vyamucha sakhayamekam. So we saw last time about Akrura coming over, right, to get Krishna and Balarama over. And then, Kamsa sends Akrura comes. Then we saw the journey that Akrura takes to come to Vrindavan. And then how he comes and meets Krishna and Balarama. And then he tells Nandagopa how Kamsa has called all of them there for a bow festival. However, in privacy, he tells to Krishna what the original intent is of Kamsa wanting to kill them and all of that. And that night, right, when Akrura is coming, we saw how Krishna did not go meet with anybody. Krishna was like missing in action, and everybody was wondering, where is Krishna? Now, the next day, the Gopika suddenly see that, in the that night, they come to know that.
We
lost. Not on mute.
Yeah,
so that night,
we lost
Gopikas
you for a while, Rajesh ji.
Oh,
the screen
okay.
got stuck. Yeah.
Oh, is it okay? Better back now, right? Okay.
Yes.
I don't know what happened. Okay. So that night, then the Gopikas are wondering, what happened to Krishna. And then they come to know that somebody like an Akrura has come from, Kamsa's son, and he's going to be taking Krishna and Balarama away. Although, according to them, they're going only for a couple of days, but they still feel very, bad about it, right? So we're going to kind of continue from there. So they, in this thing, right, this is one of those this is kind of talking about two sides of the same story. One from the Gopika side, one from Krishna's side, right? The Gopikas are contemplating when they come to know this Krishna is leaving, they're saying that the next morning, so the people of Madura are going to be so lucky because, Krishna is going to be going there, and they all have been wanting to see Krishna. Now all of their hopes are going to get fulfilled, and they'll be able to see this Krishna there. They'll be able to interact with him, while we won't be able to interact, right? They still had a lot of that possessiveness of feeling that this is my Krishna, right? That and nobody else can get access. But anyway, they just are an absolute love there. So they're thinking about it, and then they have a worry. Krishna is 11 years old, right? So they're thinking, this 11-year-old boy is going there. He's been a very nice boy all this along. Now he goes to the city. He's going to meet new people. Who knows how he's going to get converted, or his behaviors are going to change. He's going to come back a changed person. So they're also worried about how Krishna will change when he goes to Mathura, right? So there are all these things the Gopikas are contemplating amongst each other. So at that time, but they don't know where Krishna is right now. And they're all thinking through this. The Gopikas are wondering what is happening. What are we going to do? All Krishna does is he just sends a messenger. He sends one of his friend, right? And he's one of his friends to go talk to the Gopikas about it. So we'll see what the friend says in the next stanza. But that's the communication Krishna is currently having with them. Charama prahare pratishtha manaha comma, Saha Pitra Nija Mitra Mandalaischa. So they're all getting ready. Saha Pitra means along his father, along with all of them are packing to get ready to go to Mathura. At the time, Krishna is sending the friend. Paritapa Bharam Nitambi Ninam, comma, Shamayishyan Vyamuchaha. Put is Vyamuchas Sakhayam Ekam. Charama Prahare Pratishthamanaha Saha Pitra Nijamitra Mandalaisha Paritapabharam Nitambininam Shamayishyan Vyamuchas Sakhayamekam.
चरमप्रहरे प्रतिष्ठमानः सह पित्रा निजमित्रमण्डलैश्च परितापभरं नितम्बिनीनां शमयिष्यन् व्यमुचः सखायम् एकम् चरमप्रहरे प्रतिष्ठमानः सह पित्रा निजमित्रमण्डलैश्च परितापभरं नितम्बिनीनां शमयिष्यन् व्यमुचः सखायम् एकम्
निशम
Charama, stanza 3.
चरमप्रहरे प्रतिष्ठमानः सह पित्रा निजमित्रमण्डलैश्च परितापभरं नितम्बिनीनां शमयिष्यन् व्यमुच व्यमुचः सखायमेकम् चरप्रहरे प्रतिष्ठमानः सह पित्रा निजमित्रमण्डलैश्च परितापभरं नितम्बिनीनां शमयिष्यन् व्यमुञ्चः सखायमेकम्.
Yeah, it's Vyamuchas Sakhayamekam.
व्यमुचः सखायमेकम्.
Stanza 4. Achiradupayami sannidhimbo bhavita sadhumayeva sangamashrihi amritambu nimajjayishye drutamityashvasita vadhurakarshihi. And even this friend who comes, doesn't give much of a message. He just gives a very simple message that Krishna is sending, saying, don't worry. Don't worry. I know you all are going to be upset or worried that I'm actually leaving. But eventually you will get a chance to meet me soon, and then you will feel happy and bliss about it again. So it is a very simple message. Krishna is not sharing anything because Krishna knows what's going to happen next. And he can't share that, right? Because then nobody will let him go. So, he just gives a very high level message with a friend saying, don't worry, I'll be back. Or I'll eventually meet you, and then everything will be fine, and you will be able to be happy again, or something like that. Very loosely, he quotes a message, and we'll continue that in the next stanza. Achirat upayami sannidhimbo, bhavita sadhu mayeva sangamashrihi amritambunidhau nimajjayishye, the next one I'm just going to break at that ma there. Drutam ityashvasita. It is just easy, or you can say it together. Drutam ityashvasita badura karshihi. Achirat upayami sannidhimbo bhavita sadhumayeva sangamashrihi amritambunidhau nimajjayishye drutamityashvasita vadhura karshihi.
अचिरात् उपयामि सन्निधिं वो भविता साधुमयैव सङ्गमश्रीः अमृताम्बुनिधौ निमज्जयिष्ये द्रुतम् इत्याश्वसिता वधूरकार्षीः अचिरात् उपयामि सन्निधिं वो भविता साधुमयैव सङ्गमश्रीः अमृताम्बुनिधौ निमज्जयिष्ये द्रुतम् इत्याश्वसिता वधूरकार्षीः
अचिरादुपयामि सन्निधिम्बो भविता साधुमयैव सङ्गमश्रीः अमृताम्बुनिधौ निमज्जयिष्ये धृतमित्याश्वसिता वधूरकार्षीः अचिरादुपयामि सन्निधिम्बो भविता साधुमयैव सङ्गमश्रीः अमृताम्बुनिधौ निमज्जयिष्ये धृतमित्याश्वसिता वधूरकार्षीः.
That's a fine. सविषादभरं सयाञ्च्यमुच्चैः अतिदूरं वनिताभिरीक्ष्यमाणः मृदुतद्दिशि पातयन्नपाङ्घान् सबलो क्रूररतेन निर्गतो भूः. So early next morning, you have to visualize the scene, right? So early next morning, all these gopikas have come outside Nandagopa's house, and Krishna they're all there, right? They're all seeing what's happening. People are getting into the chariot, people are boarding all the items in there, and Krishna has still not spoken to them. And Krishna also mounts onto the chariot with Akrura and Balarama. And these gopikas are sitting there wondering, what is this boy? Like, what has suddenly happened to him? He has become so hard-hearted, right? He's already mounting the chariot and he's going to leave. And they're wondering, how come none of the others seem to be stopping them? He's saying these foolish other cowherds who are there, this gopas, they are actually helping him leave. They are actually helping him board the items. They are helping him mount the chariot. Instead of trying to stop Krishna from leaving, they all seem to be an accomplice in this, trying to let him actually go. And they're saying, and none of the elders who are there are stopping Krishna from going either. So these gopikas are realizing that, and they don't want to, in this open place, they don't want to go and stop Krishna either. They're hoping somebody else would. And at some point they say, you know what, we need to take control of the situation, right? And so all these gopikas, they're all in tears. And then they all go and call out Krishna's name, saying, oh, Krishna, Govinda, why are you going? Don't go. They're all yelling it out there. But even as this gopikas are crying and all this thing is happening, there's no response, right? Nobody seems to be stopping Krishna. Krishna gets onto the chariot and then the chariot starts moving. And Krishna doesn't even get down from the chariot also. He doesn't tell anything to the gopikas. And, so all he does is he just looks at them, right? He just looks at them and tries to pacify them. And they are all wondering why. And they can communicate. They're able to get that communication from Krishna saying, don't worry. But no words are coming out of Krishna. And these gopikas are just standing there in silence, right? So the silence, the reason that Krishna is not talking anything, right, is, it is a form of communication to the gopika. You don't have, because Krishna knows he's not going to come back. And he can't be telling them, saying that I'm going to be back in 2 days, right? He can't lie like that. At the same time, there was nothing he could have said in words which could have consoled them, because they just didn't want him to go. And especially if he says he's not going to be coming back at all to that area, that's only going to make things worse, right? So he then just kept it quiet, because at the end of the day, the main thing that Krishna is going to communicate to them later in Dasakam 76, when he sends another messenger, is that for true devotion, right, it has to be selfless. It cannot be that I will like you, I'm devoted to you, Krishna, because you are here in person with me. Whether the person is in person or the person loves you back, it doesn't matter. Pure love and pure devotion has to be selfless, irrespective of how the other person is reacting, right? So that was the key message that Krishna was actually sending here. But the gopikas are standing in silence, they're all crying, and the chariot continues to move. And here it talks beautifully about, in Bhagavatam, it talks about how they're continuing to see the chariot going. Then they can only see the flag on top of the chariot. Then even that goes away. Then finally, what they see is they're only seeing the dust coming out of the chariot. And with that, the chariot eventually leaves, right? From their vision, the chariot is gone and Krishna is beginning to just leave. So that they're just standing there wondering what is going to happen. But Krishna doesn't turn back. He doesn't get down. And he just leaves Mathura, Vrindavan, that way. Savishadha bharam sayachnya. So that It's a CH, ich, and then a nya, N-Y-A. So sayachnya muchaihi, comma, atiduram vanita bhirikshyamanaha mridu taddishi patayenna pangan, comma, sabalo krura ratena. Sabalo krura, sabala, this is happened to Balarama along with Balarama. So sabalo krura ratena nirgato buhu. Savishaadabharam sayachyamuchaihi atiduram vanitaabhirikshyamanah mridutaddishi patayenna pangan sabalo krura ratena nirgato bhuhu.
सविषादभरं सयाच्ञमुच्चैः अतिदूरं वनिताभिरीक्ष्यमाणः मृदु तद्दिशि पादयन्न पाङ्गान् सबलो क्रूररथेन निर्गतो भूः सविषादभरं सयाच्ञमुच्चैः अतिदूरं वनिताभिरीक्ष्यमाणः मृदु तद्दिशि पातयन्न पाङ्गान् सबलो क्रूररथेन निर्गतो भूः.
Rajesh, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So the second word, first line, my book has sayancha. Sayancha muchaihi.
So, no, the ich is coming first.
Sayachnya.
Sayachnya muchaihi.
In my book
Sayachnya.
also, Rajesh, I have that Sayancha.
Yeah, the ich, because of the meaning, when the yachnya is to like beg. So I think the it should come first. So just change it. I don't know. Maybe it must have been a typo. So, sayachnya muchaihi.
प्रविषादभरं सयाच्नमुच्चैः अतिदूरं वनिताभिरीक्ष्यमाणः मुदुतदृशी पातयन्नपाङ्गान् सबलो क्रूररथेन निर्गतो भूः.
Make it go to the second line, first word, mridu.
मृदु. Okay. सविषादभरं सयाच्नमुच्चैः अतिदूरं वनिताभिरीक्ष्यमाणः मृदु तदृशी पातयन्नपाङ्गान् सबलो क्रूररथेन निर्गतो भूः.
Stanza 6. Anasa bahulena vallabhanam manasa chanugatoota vallabhanam vanamarta mrigam vishanna vriksham samatito yamuna tati mayasi. Somebody's. So with that, as Krishna continues to go there, it says that the Gopas who are there with many carts, they are following Krishna in person. But for the Gopikas, of course, at this point, the only thing that is going along with Krishna is their hearts, right? That's why it says, Anasa Vallavanam refers to the Gopas. So they are all going. However, Vallabhanam refers to the Gopikas. So for the Gopikas, only their manas, only their mind is going along with Krishna. So they're all standing there. And Krishna and Balarama and Akrura and all the Gopas continue to leave. They left. And then they've got all the things loaded. Then it talks about how, they are now leaving Vrindavan. So not only are the Gopikas upset that Krishna is leaving, it says the whole of Vrindavan is in tears, right? As they're going through the forest, it talks beautifully about how in the forest and everybody comes to a realization, this Krishna who's wandered here all these years is finally leaving Vrindavan and going away. So with that, as the entire forest is in tears, they all finally approach the banks of Yamuna there as they're heading towards Mathura. Anasa bahulena vallavanam, manasa chanugatota vallabhanam vanamarta mrigam vishanna vriksham, samatito yamuna tatima yasihi. Anasa bahulena vallavanam manasa chanugatota vallabhanam Vanamartamrigam Vishanna Vriksham Samatito Yamuna Tati Mayasi.
Anasa bahulena vallavanam manasa chanugatoth vallabhanam vanam artamrigam vishanna vriksham samatito yamuna tati mayasihi. Anasa bahulena vallavanam manasa chanugatoth vallabhanam vanamartamrigam vishanna vriksham samatito yamuna tati mayasihi.
Anasa bahulena vallavanam manasa chanugatota vallabhanam vanamartamrugam vishanna vriksham samatito yamuna tati mayasi. Anasa bahulena vallavanam manasa chanugatota vallabhanam Vanamartamrugam Vishanna Vriksham Samatito Yamuna Tati Mayasi.
Chapter 7. Niyamaya nimajyavarine tvam avivikshata ratepi gandhineyah vivasho janikin vidam vibhoste nanu chitram tvavalokanam samanthat. So they all stop at the Yamuna river there. The Krishna gets down, Balarama gets down. They all, wash their feet, all that. They get back into the chariot. So at that time, Akrura, that morning, he has to perform some morning rituals, right? So he then gets down, and then he goes into the Yamuna river, and then he starts doing his whatever morning rituals he had to do. And suddenly, when he's in the water, Akrura is seeing Krishna and Balarama standing in front of him. So he's wondering, how is it possible? I just left Krishna and Balarama back in the chariot. I know, how can they be here? And then he thought maybe it is just something wrong that, he probably just is seeing that, right? Then when he's done, and then he goes back to the chariot, he's again saying Krishna and Balarama there. So he's suddenly beginning to wonder, how are Krishna and Balarama there in both the places? How are they in the chariot behind me? At the same time, when I'm getting into the water, Krishna and Balarama are there as well. So as Akrura is thinking about how is this happening, is this some illusion that is going on, right? Because of which I'm seeing. And Bhattaripat says, Akrura, why are you getting surprised by that? This is Krishna is omnipresent. It's just that you haven't realized it. You haven't felt it, right? So although Akrura had such great devotion and respect for Krishna, he still hasn't understood that this Krishna is Bhagavan himself. He hasn't quite gotten that. So Krishna is going to prove that to Akrura right now. So here, Bhattaripat says, he of course is omnipresent. He's going to be there everywhere you look. You are just beginning to see that right now. Niyamaya nimajya varini tvam. So that ma, you break it, im, comma. Next word starts with the a. Abhivikshyata ratepi Gandhineyah, comma. Gandhineya refers to Akrura. He's the son of Gandhini. So this is called Gandhineya. Bivashojani. The next word, at least for those who are following Sanskrit, it shows up as two words. Kim and then Invidam. Okay. So the best way to say that is that Kim becomes kin. It takes an in sound. So it becomes a double N there. So, and you say those two words together. So Vivashojani Kinvidham. K-I-N-N. Okay, so double N there. Kinvidham Vibhoste, comma. Nanu Chitram Tvavalokanam Samanthat. Niyamaya Nimajyavarini Tvam Abhivikshata Ratepi Gandhineyah Vivashojani Kinvidam Vibhoste Nanu Chitram Tvavalokanam Samantat.
Niyamaya nimajyavarini tvam abhivikshyath rathepi gandhineyah vivasho janikin vidham vibhoste nanu chitram tvavalokanam samandat. नियमाय निमज्यवारिणि त्वाम् अभिवीक्ष्याथ रथेऽपि गान्धिनेयः विवशो जनि किन्विदं विभोस्ते ननु चित्रं त्ववलोकनं समन्दात्
नियमाय निमज्जवारिणि त्वाम् अभिवीक्ष्यात रथेऽपि गान्धिनेयः विविशो जनिकिन्विदं विभोस्ते ननु चित्रं तवलोकनं समन्तात्
Because that third line over this Vivashojani.
Oh, Vivashojani, yes. नियमाय निमज्जवारिणि त्वाम् अभिवीक्ष्यात रथेऽपि गान्धिनेयः विवशो जनिकिन्विदं विभोस्ते ननु चित्रं त्ववलोकनं समन्तात्
That's it. Punaresha nimajya punyashali purusham tvam paramam bhujanga bhoge arikambu gadambujai spurantam surasiddhauga paritamaluloke. So now when Akrura is wondering how is it I'm seeing Krishna in both these places and Balarama, he takes a dip into the water of Yamuna. He goes under the water to take a dip. When he takes a dip, he then sees Ananta Shesha there, Adi Shesha there, surrounded by everybody. This Adi Shesha is having thousands of hoods, pure white in color. And on that Adi Shesha, he sees Bhagavan Vishnu lying down on the Adi Shesha. And he sees the full form of Bhagavan, the dark gray bluish hue. And he sees the Kaustuba gem, he sees the Srivatsa mark, and he sees the Ari, Kambu, Gada, Ambuja. He sees Bhagavan holding all of the four paraphernalia, all of that he's seen. Right? And then Akrura is just stunned by looking at it. And here Bhattacharya says very nicely, Punyashali. He's so blessed that he's able to see this. So in that, he's seeing all of this. Now, we ought to also imagine you go into Lake Michigan, you're taking a dip. Suddenly you see that we all will freak out. That's because we are not ready, that means. Right? So by looking at it, because we'll all be surprised to see all these things. And then, but Akrura is not. He's just a state of bliss by looking at it, right? Because he was blessed already. That he's going to get a darshan of that today. And then as he's dipping, he's seeing all this. He's seeing Balarama and Krishna in their original form, right? As Adi Shesha surrounded by all these Siddhas and everybody, and sees Bhagavan Vishnu lying there with everything. And then he's able to get a full darshan of that. Punaresha Nimajya Punyashali, Purusham Tvam Paramam Bhujanga Bhoge Ari Kambu Gadambujaihi, put is Gadambujais Spurantam, Sura Siddhauga Paritam Aluloke. If you want to break it, that Paritam Aluloke. Punaresha Nimajya Punyashali Purusham Tvam Paramam Bhujanga Bhoge Arikambu Gadambujai Spurantam Surasiddhauga Paritamaluloke.
Oops, sorry. My screen just went blank. Sorry. पुनरेश निमज्य पुण्यशाली पुरुषं त्वां परमं भुजंग भोगे अरिकम्बुगदाम्बुजैः स्फुरन्तं सुरसिद्धौघपरीतम् आलुलोके पुनरेश निमज्य पुण्यशाली पुरुषं त्वां परमं भुजंग भोगे आरिकम्बुगदाम्बुजैः स्फुरन्तं सुरसिद्धौघपरीतम् आलुलोके
पुनरेश निमज्य पुण्यशाली पुरुषं त्वां परमं भुजङ्गभोगे अरिकम्बुगदाम्बुजैः स्फुरन्तं सुरसिद्धौघपरीतम् आलुलोके पुनरेश निमज्य पुण्यशाली पुरुषं त्वां परमं भुजङ्गभोगे हरिकम्बुकदाम्बुजैः स्फुरन्तम् सुरसिद्धौघपरीतमालुलोके
सतधा परमात्मसौख्यसिन्धौ विनिमग्नः प्रणुवन् प्रकारभेदैः अविलोक्य पुनश्च हर्षसिन्धोः अनुवृत्त्या पुलकावृतो ययौ त्वाम्. So when Akrura sees this, he's just in a state of bliss by seeing Adishesha and Narayana lying there like that. And then, of course, he's in a state of ecstasy. There's tears running out of his eyes. He has horripilation all over his body. And in Bhagavatam, Akrura does a beautiful 40 stanzas of a stuti to Narayana and Adishesha, like called Akrura Stuti, where he does the full stuti for 40 stanzas, where he praises both the Saguna, which is the form, as well as the Nirguna, the formless shape of Brahman. He describes that in very detail, and that's a stuti there, praying. And then, because he's in that state of bliss right now, and with that, suddenly as he's finishing it and he's in the state, suddenly that form disappears from the water, right? So whatever he saw disappears because Krishna just withdrew that form of whatever he revealed, and Akrura is back to just seeing regular water, right? So he then finishes whatever he was doing, and then he begins, he's still in a state of shock, and then he's beginning to walk back to the chariot. स तदा परमात्म सौख्य सिन्धौ विनिमग्नः विनिमग्नः प्रणुवन् प्रकार भेदैः अविलोक्य पुनश्च हर्ष सिन्धोः. So the ra goes away, visarga and comma, sindhoho. Next word starts with the a. Anuvritya pulakavruto yayau tvam. Satadha paramatma saukya sindhau vinimagna pranuvan prakara bhedaihi avilokya punascha harsha sindhoho anuvritya pulakavruto yayau tvam.
सतदा परमात्मसौख्यसिन्धौ विनिमग्नः प्रणुवन् प्रकारभेदैः अविलोक्य पुनश्च हर्षसिन्धोः अनुवृत्त्या पुलकावृतो ययौ त्वाम्. सतदा परमात्मसौख्यसिन्धौ विनिमग्नः प्रणुवन् प्रकारभेदैः अविलोक्य पुनश्च हर्षसिन्धोः अनुवृत्त्या पुलकावृतो ययौ त्वाम्.
तदा परमात्मसौख्यसिन्धो विनिमग्नः प्रणुवन् प्रकारभेदैः अविलोक्य पुनश्च हर्षसिन्धोः अनुवृत्त्या पुलकावृतो ययौ त्वाम्.
That first line, last word, sindhau.
Sindhau, okay. तदा परमात्मसौख्यसिन्धोः. Oh,
No, sorry.
yeah.
Satada paramatma saukya sindhau.
Sindhau. Yeah. Satada paramatma saukya sindhau vinimagna pranuvan prakara bhedaihi avilokya punasya harsha sindhoho anuvruttya pulakavruto yayau tvam.
That's it. किमुशीतलिमा महाञ्जले यत् पुलकोऽसाविति चोदितेन तेन अतिहर्षनिरुक्तरेण सार्धं रतवासी पवनेश पाहि मां त्वम्. So with this, Akrura comes back. He's still in a state of shock with what he saw, right? And he has his body shivering. He has horripilation all over his body. And so Krishna just jokingly asks Akrura, what happened? You seem very shocked, as if you have seen something, unexpected, or is it the cold water, right? Because you're coming out of the Yamuna right now. But at the time, Akrura is just speechless because he doesn't even know what to say. He's just in a state of shock. So with that, he just gets into the chariot, and then you all start going towards Mathura. O Rathavasi, the Guruvayurappa, who's riding in the chariot this time, right? Please protect me as well. So with this, Krishna's Vrindavana Leela comes to an end, right? We started in 49 and up to 73. And now Krishna is going to enter Mathura into the next chapter. And then Mathura also, the duration is very small. It's a long time, but then the Dashakams are very little because primarily most of it happens in Dwaraka after that. So, Kimu Sheetalima Mahan Jale Yat, comma, Pulako Saviti Choditena Tena Ati Harsha Niruttarena Sardham, comma, Rathavasi Pavanesha Pahimam Tvam. किमु शीतलिमा महाञ्जले यत् पुलकोसाविति चोदितेन तेन अतिहर्षनिरुत्तरेण सार्धं रतवासी पवनेश पाहि मां त्वम्.
किमु शीतलिमा महाञ्जले यत् पुलकोसाविति सोदितेन तेन अतिहर्षनिरुत्तरेण सार्धं रथवासी पवनेश पाहि मां त्वम्.
Padmaja, the second line, cha sound, choditena tena.
चोदितेन.
Yeah.
किमु शीतलिमा महाञ्जले यत् पुलकोसाविति चोदितेन तेन अतिहर्षनिरुत्तरेण सार्धं रथवासी पवनेश पाहि मां त्वम्.
किमु शीतलिमा महाञ्जले यत् पुलकोसाविति चोदितेन तेन अतिहर्षनिरुत्तरेण सार्धं रथवासी पवनेश पाहि मां त्वम्. किमु शीतलिमा महाञ्जले यत् पुलकोसाविति चोदितेन तेन अतिहर्षनिरुत्तरेण सार्धं रथवासी पवनेश पाहि मां त्वम्.
Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Okay, note the Dashakam 74. Bhagavato Mathurapuri Pravesha Varnanam. So Krishna entering into Mathura. This is the 4-liner tunes. 74, 75 are a little hard. I think most of the Dashakams from, like 35 have been generally small Dashakams, right? Krishna Avatarams ones. So now 74, 75 and all that get a little relatively difficult. सम्प्राप्तो मथुरां दिनार्धविगमे तत्रान्तरस्मिन् वसन् आरामे विहिताशनः सखिजनैर्यातः पुरीमीक्षितुं प्रापो राजपथं चिरश्रुतिधृतव्यालोककौतूहलस्त्रीपुंसोद्यदगन्यपुण्यनिगलैः आकृष्यमाणो किम्. So this Akrura along with Krishna, Balarama, they all reach Mathura around the afternoon. So remember I was telling you that the Ekadashi day, Kamsa tells Akrura, then he comes to the Vrindavan on Dwadashi day. That's the day Narada meets. The Vyomasura incident happens. So the Dwadashi day night, Akrura comes. And then Trayodashi day morning, they all leave Vrindavan to come to Mathura. So this is now we are on Trayodashi day because the next 2 days is where all these incidents are going to happen. So that day, around the afternoon, around lunchtime, they all reach Mathura there, and you could see Krishna and everybody could see that the entire city is decorated because they have the big bow festival happening there. So it's a big event that is actually happening there, and the entire city is all decked up. It is all festive and everything. And so they all come there, and Akrura now, he drops Krishna, Balarama, Nandagopa all at a guest house or something. His first duty is to go tell Kamsa that job done, right? You sent me to do something. I've gotten those people. Now he doesn't want to get involved in what's going to happen after this, right? So he goes and lets Kamsa know. So Kamsa is pretty excited. Okay, at least they have all come here right now. And so all this now we'll talk about the people of Madura, right? So they all are very excited because they all come to know that this boy who we've been hearing about, who's been doing all these amazing deeds, the name has been his reputation has preceded him, right? So they all are looking forward to seeing Krishna and Balarama. They heard so much about it and they're all excited. They're hoping that Krishna and Balarama are going to come into the city and give darshan as well. So they all are excited and they are all, Krishna and Balarama are in the guest house right now. Samprapto Mathuram Dinardha Vigame, comma, Tatrantarasmin Vasan. Put in at the end of that line and comma. Next line, if you have a double na, that becomes a. Arame Vihitashanah, comma, Saki Janair Yatah, put a F, Yatah Purimikshitum. Samprapto Mathuram Dinardhabigame Tatrantarasmin Vasanne Arame Vihitashanah Saki Janair Yatah Purimikshitum.
सम्प्राप्तो मथुरां दिनार्धविगमे तत्रान्तरस्मिन् वसन् आरामे विहिताशनः सखिजनैर्यातः पुरीमीक्षितुम् सम्प्राप्तो मथुरां दिनार्धविगमे तत्रान्तरस्मिन् वसन् आरामे विहिताशनः सखिजनैर्यातः पुरीमीक्षितुम्
सम्प्राप्तो मधुरां दिनार्धविगमे तत्रान्तरस्मिन् वसन् आरामे विहिताशनः सखिजनैर्यातः पुरीमीक्षितुम् सम्प्राप्तो मधुरां दिनार्धविगमे तत्रान्तरस्मिन् वसन् आरामे विहिताशनः सखिजनैर्यातः पुरीमीक्षितुम्.
We'll just switch halfway. Jyoti Dev, you can be a student, and Nalini, you can be a student. Prapo Raja Patham, comma, Chira Shruti Dhrita Vyaloka Kautuhala, and then put a plus. Stri Pumsodyadaganya. That word you can say it together. Pumsodyadaganya Punya Nigalaihi. So the ra that is there goes away, Visarga, comma. So first third line after Raja Patham, comma, then the whole thing comes together till Stri Pumsodyada Ganya Punya Nigalaihi, comma. Next word starts with a now. Akrishya Manonukim. So it also talks about how Krishna and Balarama, they enter into the Rajapath, means the Rajpath, they have like a main street, right, which is all decked up. So they all enter there, and there they're actually seeing all these men and women who are lined up on either sides. Because a lot of events going on, probably a parade or something is going on. They are all lining up on each sides, and everybody is exciting because Krishna is Balarama are also walking through that area, and everybody is beginning to see them right now. Prapo Rajapatham Chirashruti Dhrita Vyaloka Kautuhala Stri Pumsodyadaganya Punya Nigalaihi Akrishyamano Nukim.
प्रापो राजपथं चिरश्रुतिधृतव्यालोककौतूहलस्त्री पुंसोद्यतगण्यपुण्यनिगलैः आकृष्यमाणोऽनु किम् प्रापो राजपथं चिरश्रुतिधृतव्यालोककौतूहलस्त्री पुंसोद्यतगण्यपुण्यनिगलैः आकृष्यमाणोऽनु किम्
प्रापो राजपथं चिरश्रुतिधृतव्यालोककौतूहलस्त्रीपुंसोऽध्य दगन्यपुण्यनिगलैः आकृष्यमाणोऽनु किम् प्रापो राजपथं चिरश्रुतिधृतव्यालोककौतूहलस्त्रीपुंसोऽध्य दगन्यपुण्यनिगलैः आकृष्यमाणोऽनु किम्.
Answer 2. Tvatpadhadyutivatsaragasubaghaः Tvanmurtivadhyoshitah Samprapta vilasatmayodhararucho Lolabhavadrishtivate Harinyastvadurastalhivadayite Mandasmita praudivate Nairmalyolasitaha Kachaugaruchivat Rajatkalapashitaha. So here, this one, Badripat is kind of comparing and we've seen all these men and women who are actually standing there on either side of the road, right? So he's comparing, because he's a poet as well and a Sanskrit scholar, he's comparing Krishna to the women who are actually standing there, women of Mathura, which means he's using some same words which could also refer to describe the women of Madura. The same words are also could be used to describe Krishna. So just playing with words, right? So he talks about how Krishna, has a payodhara ruchaha, means Krishna is, the color of Krishna is that of a rain-bearing cloud. That he then compares to how the women of Mathura are, well endowed and all of that. Then he talks about how Harinyaha could mean attractive. It could also mean wearing necklaces. Says Krishna, you are attractive. But for the women, it means that they are actually wearing necklace, other things. Then he talks about how Krishna is wearing a peacock feather on his head, right? Now, the same thing, Rajat Kalapashritaha, that would also mean that the other women are wearing all the ornaments, right? So essentially, what he's doing is comparing Krishna and comparing all the men, women primarily, but the men and women who are lined up on either sides of the streets, and then just talking about them.
Rajesh ji, is there a reason why he has to compare God with humans? Generally, we don't do that, right?
Compare naka, like the comparison here is he's a poet, right? So he's describing who all are standing. So he's talking about how he's primarily talking about the women of Madura, right? So he's talking about how the women of Madura are there, they're all well decked, they're all wearing all these ornaments, they're all well endowed. He's talking about that, describing who's there. But he's also describing Krishna. So, other than the words with he's just playing. He's just saying that the same one word which describes one meaning of Krishna could also be interpreted as describing the women. So you could interpret it however you want.
So
right?
should
The
we
same
take it
words.
in the other way, where like because of Krishna's presence, everyone looks like Krishna?
It's not. No, they're not looking like Krishna.
I mean, in one way or other, not exactly. In one
not
way or
exactly. Yeah,
other.
so he's essentially using the same words. In the Sanskrit, ஒரே word there are multiple meanings, right? He just played around with it just to say, Krishna, you are looking very handsome. You are in this gray cloud, rain-bearing cloud color. You are wearing a peacock feather on your head. He's describing Krishna. But you could also interpret that as he's describing the women of Madura who are standing. This is not comparing, but just kind of, describing them, really. Tvat pada द्युतिवत् सराग सुभगाः त्वन् मूर्तिवध्योषितः सम्प्राप्ता विलसत् पयोधर रुचो लोला भवत् दृष्टिवत् त्वत्पादद्युतिवत् सराग सुभगाः त्वन्मूर्तिवध्योषितः सम्प्राप्ता विलसत् पयोधर रुचो लोला भवदृष्टिवत्
त्वत्पादद्युदिवत् सरागसुभगाः त्वन्मूर्तिवद्योषितः सम्प्राप्ता विलसत् पयोधररुचो लोला भवदृष्टिवत् त्वत्पादद्युदिवत् सरागसुभगाः त्वन्मूर्तिवद्योषितः सम्प्राप्ता विलसत् पयोधररुचो लोला भवदृष्टिवत्
त्वत्पादद्युतिवत्सुरागसुभगाः त्वन्मूर्तिवद्योषितः सम्प्राप्ता विलसत्पयोधररुचो लोला भवदृष्टिवत्.
Nalini, the first line, Saraga Subhagaha.
Okay.
I think you said Suraga, Saraga Subhagaha.
Yeah. त्वत्पादद्युतिवत्सरागसुभगाः त्वन्मूर्तिवद्योषितः सम्प्राप्ता विलसत्पयोधररुचो लोला भवदृष्टिवत्.
Harinyas Twaduraha, put is Twaduras Stali Vadayite, Manda Smita Praudhivat, put it at the end of that line, Praudhivat, Next line, if in Sanskrit, if we have double na and the I, then one of the na goes away. It just becomes Nairmalyo Lasitaha, Kachaugha Ruchi Vat Rajat Kalapashritaha. Harinyastvadurasthalibadayite mandasmita praudhivate nairmalyollasitāha kachaugaruchivat rajat kalapashritaha.
हारिण्यस्त्वदुरस्थलीवदयिते मन्दस्मितप्रौढिवत् नैर्मल्योलसिताः कजौखरुचिवत् राजत्कलापाश्रिताः हारिण्यस्त्वदुरस्थलीवदयिते मन्दस्मितप्रौढिवत् नैर्मल्योलसिताः कजौखरुचिवत् राजत्कलापाश्रिताः
स्थलीवदयिते मन्दस्मितप्रौढिवत् नैर्मल्योल्लसिताः कचोगरुचिवद्राजत्कलापाश्रिताः.
Yeah, that last one, you can, if you want to, you can say Kachauga Ruchi Vat It Rajat Kalapashritaha.
राजत्कलापाश्रिताः. हारिण्यस्त्वदुरस्थलीवदयिते मन्दस्मितप्रौढिवत् नैर्मल्योल्लसिताः कचोघरुचिवद्राजत्कलापाश्रिताः.
Achati. तासामाकलयन्नपाङ्गफलनैः मोदं प्रहर्षाद्भुतव्यालोलेषु जनेषु तत्र रजकं कञ्चित् पटीं प्रार्थयन् कस्ते धास्यति राजकीयवसनं याहीति तेनोदितः सद्यस्तस्य करेण शीर्षमहृताः सोऽप्यापपुण्यां गतिम्. So this bunch of boys, right? Krishna, Balarama, and some of the other Gopa boys who happened to come along with them to Mathura, his friends who came along with him. So they all are walking along the streets of Mathura, which is a relatively bigger city because Vrindavan is is a village. So when these boys are little bit, they all are feeling out of place, right? Because the city's got lot of people lining up. They had buildings there, and people are dressed up in a different way, and all of these things. So they all are walking through that. So at that time, they see a washerman, somebody who washes people's clothes and who's carrying the clothes away. So and it's all well, all well washed, ironed kind of clothes that this washerman is carrying. So Krishna is going to that washerman and saying that, can we get a couple of clothes? Because they all are wearing, they all wear one layer clothes. People who are poor, they will only wear one layer clothes. So Krishna is going and telling the washerman, can you give us some clothes? So this washerman, he knows these boys have come from Vrindavan, right? So he's like insulting them. He's saying that you are a ekavastradhari, right? You're only wearing one layer cloth. You are a poor kid who's wearing one layer cloth. You are used to roaming the forests of Vrindavan and other places. Now you suddenly come to the city, and he says these are all expensive clothes which are meant for the people in the palace, right? That's where the washerman is taking all these things. So he then refuses to give it. Now, Bhagavatam or Narayaniyam does not talk anything else about this washerman. But there is another thing, right, which is it is in Garga Samhita, which was written by Garga Muni, the one who named Krishna in Dasakam 44. Garga came to name Krishna, right? That Garga Samhita talks about a conversation that happens between sage Narada and another king. Okay, that's what Garga wrote in his Garga Samhita. In that, Narada seems to refer to this washerman as the washerman who was there in Treta Yuga during Rama and Sita's thing, who commented about Sita, right? So because that led to a whole chain of events, that washerman's comments, that washerman really felt like he was responsible for a lot of things. So he wanted to get liberated. He realized his mistake, and he wanted to have a connection to be born again, where he could come in contact with Bhagavan in the next Yugam. That is there in Garga Samhita, not there in Narayaniyam or Bhagavatam, right? All this talks about is they go ask for the clothes, that washerman insults them, and then Krishna, uses his nails or his hand, and then it touches him, and then he gets liberated. That's all it talks about. And then they take a few clothes from that washerman, and they all wear those clothes and go. That is the street. It has a couple of interactions. That is the one interaction which is mentioned here. Tasam, put a im, tasam akala yenna panga. Cannot break that word. Tasam akala yenna panga balanaihi, put a visarga comma there. The next word modam, the ir goes away. Modam praharshadbhuta, then put a plus. Then the whole next line comes together. Vyaloleshu janeshu tatra rajakam kanchit padim prarthayan. Rajakam refers to the washerman. Here Bhadri Bhatt says kanchit rajakam, means some washerman. He doesn't have a specific name called out for him. Tasama panga valanaihi modham praharshadbhuta vyaloleshu janeshu tatra rajakam kanchit patim prarthayan.
तासामाकलयन्नपाङ्गबलनैः मोदं प्रहर्षाद्भुतव्यालोलेषु जनेषु तत्र रजकं कञ्चित्पटीं प्रार्थयन् तासामाकलयन्नपाङ्गबलनैः मोदं प्रहर्षाद्भुतव्यालोलेषु जनेषु तत्र रजकं कञ्चित्पटीं प्रार्थयन्
Rajesh, என்னோட book
மியூட்ல இருக்கேன்.
ராஜேஷ் என்னோட புக்ல மோந்தம்னு இருக்கு.
இங்க
தாசாம் மாக்கல என்ன பாங்க வலனைகி மோந்தம்னு இருக்கு இதுல.
inna.
இந்த மோந்தம்.
Okay, no, I think there's no in there. Just modam only.
Huh?
Just modam only. There's no in there.
Yeah, here also moham in my book.
That's what it is. Moham is the right thing because it's really referring to happiness there. Okay, so the moham is the right meaning for it, but I think for consistency we can use the word modam, but there's no in there.
Rajesh, happiness is modam. Moham வந்து desire இல்லையா?
Desire, happiness. Essentially, what this means is moham, that akala and the more than it's causing happiness, it's causing delight.
Happiness, amodam, modam வந்து happiness.
That is just causing delight or excitement, happiness, and the context it is getting used there. So I don't know what the in there. Maybe that is just a typo, Lalita. So moham is desire. You're right. Anyways, yeah.
तासामाकलयन्नपाङ्गवलनैः मोदं प्रहर्षाद्भुतव्यालोलेषु जनेषु तत्र रजकं कञ्चित् पटीं प्रार्थयन्.
Last word, prarthayan.
तासामाकलयन्नपाङ्गवलनैः मोदं प्रहर्षाद्भुतव्यालोलेषु जनेषु तत्र रजकं कञ्चित् पटीं प्रार्थयन्.
Taste dasyati rajakiya vasanam, yahiti tenoditaha, sadyastasya karena shirshamahritaha, sopyapa punyam gatim. Kaste dasyati rajakiya vasanam yahiti tenoditaha sadyastasya karena shirshamahritaha sopyapa punyam gatim.
तस्ते दास्यति राजकीयवसनं याहीदितेनोदितः सद्यस्तस्य करेण शीर्षमहृदाः सोऽप्यापपुण्यां गतिम् कस्ते दास्यति राजकीयवसनं याहीदितेनोदितः सद्यस्तस्य करेण शीर्षमहृदाः सोऽप्यापपुण्यां गतिम्
कस्ते दास्यति राजकीयवसनं याहीति तेनोदितः सद्यस्तस्य करेण शीर्षमहृदाः सोऽप्यापपुण्यां गतिम्. कस्ते दास्यति राजकीयवसनं याहीति तेनोदितः सद्यस्तस्य करेण शीर्षमहृदाः सोऽप्यापपुण्यां गतिम्.
That's a full. भूयो वायकमेकमायतमतिं तोषेण वेशोचितं दाश्वांसं स्वपदं निनेत सुकृतं को वेद जीवात्मना मालाभिस्तबकैस्तभैरपि पुनर्माला कृता मानितो भक्तिं तेन वृतां दिदेशितपरां लक्ष्मीं च लक्ष्मीपते. So this Krishna interacts with a few people, right, on that day. This is explained in stanzas 3, 4, and 5. And then Bhattaripat beautifully summarizes that in stanza 6, though. So here he first talked about this washerman who he saw. So next they come across, when they're going, they go to another place where somebody is weaving cloths and ornaments and everything, a weaver, right? So they go and ask for something from him, but he's very nice. He's obliges and he says, sure, take it, right? Take whatever you want. And he gives them some clothes and ornaments. And then, so Balarama and Krishna and others are all well decked up, right? So they're matching to the outfit everybody in Madhura is wearing. They all are wearing these ornaments, and then they bless him with with dash swapadam, which means he's blessing you that he'll eventually get liberated. So again, but says we don't know what sukritam this person has done, in which janmam of his, right? It's not going to be some random person is just going and getting liberated when Krishna is entering Madhura, right? So there must have been some history. We just don't know what that history is, but he must have definitely done some sukrit in his previous janmams, because of which he gets to meet Krishna there and Balarama there and getting liberated. So that is the one weaver who they meet. Next, they go to another person who's selling flowers. That person's name is Sudama, nothing to do with the Sudama of Krishna's friend, another just some random Sudama. And that Sudama is a garland maker. So even there, they both go and say, because at the time they all used to deck themselves up with flowers. So they go and ask for flowers, and the garland maker also obliges and says, whatever flower you want, you can take, because you all boys have come from the village. You can deck yourself up. And so they dress themselves up with all the flowers as well. And even then Krishna asks him, what do you want? And that person doesn't ask for any money or anything. He just says, I just want to continue in a faithful way. He's a very devoted person. He says, may my devotion continue to go up, right, to Bhagavan. And then he's blessed so that his devotion also continues. So with this, each of them are having different things they're getting in return or getting blessed and interacting with Krishna there. Bhuyo, the next one, I'm just going to break it into a few parts if you want. Vayakam ekam ayata. Or you can say it together. Vayakam ekam ayata matim, comma, toshena veshochitam, dashvamsam swapadam nineta, comma, sukrutam koveda jivatmana. So all of this in the Garga Samhita, Narada seems to refer to all of these people as somebody who used to have some birth in some other worlds or something else, right? So this garland maker he refers to, he used to be in the gardens of Kubera. He used to be there, and then he worshipped Shiva and everything, and then he got blessings, right? He had some requests and he got blessings, and then he took birth in Dwapara Yuga when Krishna was there, so that he could actually get blessed and get liberated. Similarly, this other, the weaver also has some connection to Ramayana at that time. That's all there in Garga Samhita, but not here. So this all, like I said, we just don't know what the history is, but they all have done something good in the past, right? Dashvamsam swapadam nineta, comma, sukrutam koveda jivatmanam. Bhuyo vayakamekamayatamatim toshena veshochitam dashvamsam swapadam nineta sukrutam koveda jivatmanam.
भूयो वायगमेकमायदमतिं तोषेण वेषोचितं दाश्वांसं स्वपदं निनेथ सुकृतं को वेद जीवात्मनां भूयो वायगमेकमायदमतिं तोषेण वेषोचितं दाश्वांसं स्वपदं निनेथ सुकृतं को वेद जीवात्मनाम्
भूयो वायकमेकमायतमतिं तोषेण वेषोचितं दाश्वांसं स्वपदं निनेथ सुकृतं को वेद जीवात्मनां भूयो वायकमेकमायतमतिं तोषेण वेषोचितं दाश्वांसं स्वपदं निनेथ Sukrutam ko veda jivatmanam.
Malabihi, put a is. Stabakaihi, put a is. Stavairapi, comma. Punar malakrita manito, comma. Bhaktim tena vritam dideshita param, comma. Lakshmi cha Lakshmi pate. Malabhistavaikaistavairapi punar malakrita manito bhaktim tena vritam dideshita param Lakshmim cha Lakshmi pate.
मालाभिस्तभगैस्तवैरपि पुनर्मालाकृता मानिनो भक्तिं तेन वृदां दिदेशितपरां लक्ष्मीं च लक्ष्मीपते मालाभिस्तभगैस्तवैरपि पुनर्मालाकृता मानिनो मालाकृता मानितो भक्तिं तेन वृदां दिदेशितपरां लक्ष्मीं च लक्ष्मीपते
मालाभिस्तबकैस्तवैरपि पुनर्मालाकृता मानितो भक्तिं तेन वृतां दिदेशिधवर परां लक्ष्मीं च लक्ष्मीपते मालाभिस्तबकैस्तवैरपि पुनर्मालाकृता मानितो भक्तिं तेन वृतां दिदेशिध परां लक्ष्मीं च लक्ष्मीपते.
Kubjamabjavilochanam patipunadrishtwangaraage taya datte sadhu kilangaragamadadah tasya mahantam hridi chittastamrjujamata pratayitum gatropi tasya sphutam grinnan manjukarena tamudanayah tavad jagat sundari. So then they interact with the fourth person. So this, as they are actually walking there, right? They see a young woman, young girl or woman, young age, and she's got a very attractive face, but she's a hunchback, right? And she says, so the Krishna is she's selling these perfumes that, and so Krishna, they are all already decked with clothes, they have ornaments, they have this, flowers and everything. Now they want some perfumes, so they go ask this woman, like, you seem to be carrying something which is very fragrant. What is it? So who are you? So she says, my name is Trivakra. So her name itself has become Trivakra because she's bent in three places in her body. So people call her Trivakra, someone who's bent in three places because she's a hunchback. And she says, I'm carrying all this oil, perfumes and everything, which is going to Kamsa's palace. So she's the supplier of all of those perfumes and everything. So Krishna Balarama obviously asked her, like, give me some. Now, the thing here is, this Trivakra can only see the feet of Krishna. She cannot see the face because her face is bent, right? Her back is bent. So she just looks at the feet and then she could see something there. She could see something special. So she says, you can take whatever you want, right? Although it's all going to Kamsa, you can take whatever you want. And then they obviously they say, we don't have any money with us. What do you want in return? She says, I want nothing in return, right? Just take whatever you guys want. So in return, what Krishna does is, Krishna puts his feet on the Trivakra's feet, and with his two fingers, he just pops up her chin. And then her hunchback goes away. That's why he says, then with this, oh Krishna, you fixed her hunchback. She was already a pretty young woman. Now the hunchback was the primary issue for her. Then she becomes Tava Jagat Sundari. So she becomes one of the most beautiful persons, because her hunchback gets fixed, all because she does not want anything. She did not expect anything when she was actually giving this to Krishna. So with that is the other thing, which Krishna does. And then this girl or young woman, is absolutely in love with Krishna because Krishna fixed her this thing there, and she could see a connection. So she doesn't want to let Krishna go. So, however, Krishna says, I'll come back. So she's going to come back later in Dashakam 76. So Krishna says, I have some things to take care of. Let me finish that and then I'll come back to you. So Kubjam, Abja, Bilochanam, Pati, Punar, Drishtwanga Rage, Taya, Datte Sadhu Kilanga Ragamadadaha. That Visarga goes away. Adadaha, Tasya Mahantam Hridi. कुब्जामब्जविलोचनां पति पुनर्दृष्ट्वाङ्गरागे तया दत्ते साधु किलाङ्गरागमददाः तस्या महान्तं हृदि
कुब्जामब्जविलोचनां पदि पुनर्दृष्ट्वाङ्गरागे तया दत्ते साधु किलाङ्गरागमददाः तस्या महान्तं हृदि कुब्जामब्जविलोचनां पदि पुनर्दृष्ट्वाङ्गरागे तया दत्ते साधु किलाङ्गरागमददाः तस्या महान्तं हृदि
कुब्जामब्जविलोचनां पथि पुनर्दृष्ट्वाङ्गरागे तया दत्ते साधु किलाङ्गरागमददाः तस्या महान्तं हृदि कुब्जामब्जविलोचनां पथि पुनर्दृष्ट्वाङ्गरागे तया दत्ते साधु किलाङ्गरागमददाः तस्या महान्तं हृदि
Chittastham, I'm just breaking at that ma if you want. Chittastham, Rijuthamata. Then that next word will start with the R. Rijuthamata pratayitum, comma, Gatrepi tasyaha, put is tasyas putam, comma, Grinnan manju karena tamudanayaha. Is goes away, Visarga, comma, Tavaj jagat sundarim. चित्तस्तामृजुतामत प्रतयितुं गात्रेऽपि तस्या स्फुटं गृह्णन् मञ्जुकरेण तामुदनयः तावज्जगत्सुन्दरीम्
चित्तस्तामृजुतामथ प्रथयितुं गात्रेऽपि तस्या स्फुटं गृह्णन् मञ्जुकरेण तामुदनयः तावज्जगत्सुन्दरीं चित्तस्तामृजुतामथ प्रथयितुं गात्रेऽपि तस्या स्फुटं गृह्णन् मञ्जुकरेण तामुदनयः तावज्जगत्सुन्दरीम्
चित्तस्तां मृजुतामथ प्रथयितुं गात्रेऽपि तस्या स्फुटं गृह्णन् मञ्जुकरेण तामुदनयः तावज्जगत्सुन्दरीं चित्तस्तां मृजुतामथ प्रथयितुं गात्रेऽपि तस्या स्फुटं गृह्णन् मञ्जुकरेण तामुदनयः तावज्जगत्सुन्दरीम्.
We'll probably do one more stanza. It's a beautiful stanza. I love this. And we'll do this and stop today. तावन्निश्चितवैभवास्तव विभो नात्यन्तपापा जनाः यत्किञ्चिद्धदते स्म शक्त्यनुगुणं ताम्बूलमाल्यादिकं गृह्णानः कुसुमादिकिञ्चन तथा मार्गे निबद्धाञ्जलिः नातिष्ठं बतः यतोऽद्य विपुलामार्तिं व्रजामि प्रभो. So we saw that the weaver, and then the washerman, and then that flower person, then this kubja, all of them, right? So all of them gave something to Krishna, whatever they can. There's no comparison. Each of them, whatever they had, they were able to give. And then Bhattipat says, not only them, there were a lot of other people in Madhura who came to see Krishna and Balarama. And when they all came, they all gave whatever they offered something to Krishna. Some of them just gave, tambula malyadikam. Some people gave tambulam. Some people gave the betel leaf. Some people gave garland. Some people gave whatever they are able to give. He says all of these are people, and some people didn't give anything, but they came to see Krishna and Balarama on the streets of Mathura, right? So Bhattipat says the thing is, all of these people had some other commitments that day. Not that everybody is sitting at home idle. They all had some commitments, but they prioritized coming to the streets of Mathura to come and see Krishna and Balarama, and then give whatever they are able to give according to their capacity. Shakti Nugunam, Shakti, according to their capacity, right? There's no comparison of who is giving more or who is giving less. So he says, the reason is because they are all the people who are doing more punyam. And here, in every dashakam, at the end of it, Bhattipat, what does he pray? He says that please eradicate the ailments I have. Please eradicate the sorrows I have. So here he says, I know the reason why I'm suffering right now in this Janma. Is the reason I'm suffering in this birth of mine, he says, is I must have been born when Krishna, you came to Mathura. And instead of leaving what I'm doing and coming and seeing you on the streets of Mathura and giving you whatever I am able to, I was sitting at my home or busy doing something else. Because if I had gotten a chance to come there and see you and give you something, I wouldn't have been suffering right now. Right? So he's saying this very beautifully. He says, Natishtam bataha yatot. He says, alas, I did not take that opportunity, Krishna, when you came to Mathura to meet you. So because of which I am now having to take another birth, undergoing all of this sorrow, and hopefully this time I will get close to you. Right? I don't want to leave this opportunity. That's why sitting in Guruvayur writing this thing, right? So it's a very beautiful thing which kind of explains, that a lot of times we prioritize other things, right? But sometimes things go like this. A lot of people in Mathura didn't go, but a lot of people did, right? And those are all the good deeds. They are the blessed ones who got an opportunity to do that. Tavan nischita vaibhavas tava vibho, natyanta papa janaha. So put a visarga and comma, janaha. Add a visarga there. Yat kinchit dadate sma shaktyanugunam, tambula malyadikam. Tavannishchida vaibhavastava vibho natyanta papa janaha yat kinchit dadate sma shaktyanugunam tambula malyadikam.
तावन्निश्चितवैभवास्तव विभो नात्यन्तपापा जनाः यत्किञ्चिद्ददते स्म शक्त्यनुगुणं ताम्बूलमाल्यादिकम् तावन्निश्चितवैभवास्तव विभो नात्यन्तपापा जनाः यत्किञ्चिद्ददते स्म शक्त्यनुगुणं ताम्बूलमाल्यादिकम्
तावन्निश्चितवैभवास्तव विभो नात्यन्तपापा जनाः यत्किञ्चिद्ददति स्म शक्त्यनुगुणं ताम्बूलमाल्यादिकम् तावन्निश्चितवैभवास्तव विभो नात्यन्तपापा जनाः यत्किञ्चिद्ददति स्म शक्त्यनुगुणं ताम्बूलमाल्यादिकम्.
Grihnanah, the naha is there, put a ich or h to join. Grihnanah kusumadi kinchana tada, marge nibaddhanjalihi, anjali. So nibaddhanjalihi, add a visargan, comma. Next line, if you have a ir on top of natishtam, that goes away. Natishtam bata ha yatodhya, vipulamartim brajami prabho. Grihnanah kusumadi kinchana tadha marge nibaddhanjalihi natishtham bataha yatodhya vipulamartim brajame prabho.
गृह्णानः कुसुमादिकिञ्चन तदा मार्गे निबद्धाञ्जलिः नातिष्ठं वदः यदोद्य विपुलामार्तिं व्रजामि प्रभो गृह्णानः कुसुमादिकिञ्चन तदा मार्गे निबद्धाञ्जलिः नातिष्ठं वदः यदोद्य विपुलामार्तिं व्रजामि प्रभो
गृह्णानः कुसुमादिकिञ्चन तदा मार्गे निबद्धाञ्जलिः नातिष्ठं बतः यतोऽद्य विपुलामार्तिं व्रजामि प्रभो गृह्णानः कुसुमादिकिञ्चन तदा मार्गे निबद्धाञ्जलिः नातिष्ठं बतः यतोऽद्य विपुलामार्तिं व्रजामि प्रभो.
The class here today. Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Sandhanandhavabodhatmakamanupamitam Kaladeshavaribhyam Nirmuktam Nityamuktam Nigamashatasahasrena Nirbhasyamanam Aspashtam Drishtamatre पुनरुरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावद्भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानां कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful Deepavali whenever you're
Thank
celebrating.
you. Happy
Thank
Diwali,
you.
everyone.
Happy
Happy Diwali,
Happy
everyone.
Diwali, ma.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you, Rajesh.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.